Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Saudi Arabia. But first, before we get to Saudi Arabia, a trip to Dubai. So there was 2 weeks in between the two races, so I decided to take a trip to the city, where my cousin works and lives. So I took advantage of her hospitality. So thank you very much, Amy. And yes, did a few sightseeing, saw some camels, went to the beach, and played some golf at Top Golf. Never been Top Golf. Very good, very entertaining actually. And I actually hit a ball quite well. Went to the Dubai Mall, very famous for the massive aquarium in the middle of it, and a go-kart track on the roof. Very beautiful city. Obviously, you can understand why now it is popular with tourists and people who emigrate and live and work out there. So yeah, lovely place to see and witness, and yeah, it was a good little side visit away from the F1. But obviously, that is what we are here to talk about. So off to Saudi Arabia we go. So yeah, Saudi airport was the first stop, obviously, to get a taxi to the hotel. Bit overwhelming, if I'm honest. There's about 100 taxi drivers waiting at the arrivals, trying to get you into their taxi. But top tip, Uber. Uber is your best bet. One, because you can control the money, and two, obviously you can see where they are, and it's nice and safe and protected. So that was easy to get to the hotel, which was situated just on the edge of Old Town. In hindsight, I would say if you do go, definitely get a hotel close to the Corniche and close to the track. Much easier when it comes to the race weekend. The city itself, had a small trip into Old Town. It's very nice if you're into obviously the history, and the buildings and the culture. But as you can see, I went for more of a day out to the Corniche, walking up and down. It's a nice area and very spectacular views of the city as well. So yeah, so that was nice. Just sticking on with to on the Uber side of things for the weekend. At the track does put on a pick up and drop off point. Now that's available on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the weekend. However, that is with licensed taxis, and now they have meters, but they do have issues that locals can go in there as well and tout for fares, and obviously they don't have regulated meters, which is obviously a massive issue. So if you do use the pick up drop off point put on by the circuit, make sure the price is um, decided before you get in the taxi. That way you have a record of it being discussed. Um, but if you have another way around it, there is one. You can get an Uber from the Red Sea Mall, which is just next to the circuit. Now, that isn't an issue going to the circuit. However, it is an issue getting away because it's ridiculously busy, and Uber drivers, if they realise that you're coming away from the F1, they will more likely reject your fare because the traffic is horrendous and they don't want to get stuck in traffic. Other than that, we on Thursday there was mention in a few publications of a pit lane walk. However, if you saw a few moments ago in the video, it was me ranting on that no pit lane walk was on, only to be told that it was a special event for certain ticket holders. Obviously, I didn't have that ticket, so a bit of a wasted journey. And also, if I'm being honest, nobody knew what a pit lane walk was. I even spoke to someone who spoke English, which was very rare in this area actually, because obviously they're not used to tourists. So even in the hotel, walking around, very little English. So again, the Translate app on an iPhone is your best friend. Yeah, sticking to more of the track then. So the security as you go in was good as well. Again, like a bit like Bahrain, they had airport scanners type of thing. You're allowed a bag, but you're not allowed water. However, water is free all around the track. They have water stations, not taps, but actual water bottles dotted everywhere, and you just go and pick them up as and when you need. They aren't chilled, unfortunately. When we were there, they were just out in the sun, so they were a bit lukewarm, but they were still obviously water's free. If it's free, it's better, isn't it? So that's fine. Leading on to the grandstands now in the circuit. So the grandstands were well laid out. It's a very long circuit, so you do have to do a lot of walking if you want to explore. Plus the concerts, and we'll get back to that later, are at the other end of the track, so it is a bit of a trek to get to. But for the grandstands, the problem is that on Fridays, I do believe, and it should be a rule, that roaming grandstands should exist. If Silverstone, one of the most popular circuits, can do it, everybody else can do it. The grandstands were half full, as you can see in these images now. All weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there was actually no one in, which I suppose if you again, to be very frank, it is Saudi Arabia. A lot of people are apprehensive about the country due to its political views and very obviously being very conservative. So yeah, the grandstands were half full, and to be honest, the more people actually came in after the track events to go to the circuits, because obviously the tickets were so cheap. You get in high class acts, musicians, for the price of an F1 ticket, which is about £200. So you can see the obviously the plus of buying an F1 ticket and getting 3 days worth of music. So the roaming grandstand was an issue for me. I still feel like every track should allow that, but there you go. Yeah, the fan zone and the entertainment was all extremely well thought out. The drivers had the interviews on this stage now, as you can see. These guys came on, and I was a little bit like, "What the hell's going on?" But as you can see in the clip next, you'll see them doing some very impressive tricks, which I was very impressed with. I must say, it takes some balance to land a backflip like that. Like that. There you go. So yes, so they were quite entertaining. The cars that you've probably seen as well, like the Saudi Arabia, it was a Saudi Arabia car club with very, very nice cars. And all around the track, there were pop up musician acts. The Ferris wheel was great at the central grandstand. That's where my ticket was. There was even a zip line there as well. So yeah, plenty to do, and it's very family orientated. So there's lots of children's activities as well, which made it makes it appealing to obviously families to come and try it out. The track itself was brilliant, to be fair. Can't lie, it was like I said, very well laid out. It is very long from one end to the other, so it is a bit of a trek. But yeah, there was no argument. It was one of the inside the track. It was one of the best this year, to be honest. I had no problems at all. Plenty of food options. And the music as well at the end was brilliant. You have Charlie Puth here, as you can see. Swedish House Mafia as well followed him. Only issue is they only started at 10 p.m. and finished at about 3 a.m. because they had 3 acts on. So yeah, that was a bit of a downside because obviously after the long day you don't want to be hanging around that long, and we didn't know what the taxi situation would be. But yeah, so that was that. But other than that, the food was good. The only thing is, it was busy at the end of the concerts again with the taxis. But if you, like I said, if you go to the actual pickup point to make sure you set a price before you set off, you'll have no issues. So yeah, other than that, it was a very successful event. The race itself was won by Perez, which was good because Max won so dominantly in Bahrain. We were worried that that it was just going to be a whitewash. Obviously, hindsight, we know now it was. However, at the time, we were quite happy to see Perez win, and Alonso got P3 again for the second time running. Although it was taken away from him from a short period due to a controversial decision during the pit stops where they weren't allowed to work on his car, but they did. But other than that, it was a decent race. The after race fireworks were very impressive, and we managed to get to the pit straight to go on the track. So all in all, absolutely very good, spectacular event. I would go again, but I would pick a hotel that had Wi-Fi and was closer to the Corniche itself. So there you go, guys. That is Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much for watching. Look out for the next one.